Lori here. I'm back to start a new reading vlog. It's Monday, July 19th. This is going to be a little bit of a weird week. The Olympics are starting on Friday, and I am a big Olympic watcher, especially when it goes to gymnastics. So I really wanted to focus this week on, first of all, finishing my categories that I created for myself, but also reading some more Japanese or Asian inspired stories. I've just been really inspired to read more stories that because the Olympics are set in Tokyo and I'm seeing a lot of behind the scene features set from the Olympians, and I just think it's really, really fun. So I'm also playing the TBR and Beyond reading game, so I'm going to kind of use those prompts as a way to kind of stay on task a little bit. But my newest one that I wound up choosing was a new release. So I'm going to pick Six Crimson Cranes by Elizabeth Lim. This is her newest story, and I don't know anything about it. I really like Spin the Dawn. I also do have Unravel the Dusk by her that may get put into this TBR. But yeah, so this week I am just going to relax, enjoy myself, prepare for some gymnastic competitions. I'm also a little bit indecisive about the audiobook I want to read. I started one which is like a political thriller. I don't know what I'm really in the mood for. I don't know. I'm kind of indecisive. I'm preparing to listen to a lot of podcasts this week, so I'm trying to find some quicker reads. So I'm gonna whatever I pick, I'm gonna probably do that now as I go for a bike ride. But I am gonna start Six Crimson Cranes. I was in the city all day with a friend, so I also got a few books, which always happens when I go shopping with my friend Sarah. We always go book shopping and we get books. But yeah, so that's sort of my plan. I just wound up finishing Tokyo Ever After by Amiko Jean, which I did like. And I also did finish my nonfiction book last night, which is it was by Michael Bloom. It's like Thinking Like a Director, which I wanted to read for years and years and years. So I did finish this yesterday as well. But yeah, I'm gonna go for a bike ride, read in the park a little bit because I didn't get to read really all day other than when I was kind of commuting. Pick something to listen to, and I'll come home and I'm gonna hope to tackle the rest of my YouTube queue. Right now, I have about 40 videos left. I'm making my way through them slowly but surely, but that's sort of the plan right now. But yeah, I'm gonna start with Six Crimson Cranes and see how far I can get. It's been a bit since I read like a pure fantasy set in a fantastical world. But yeah, I'll talk to you guys when I read a little bit more and pick whatever I'm going to listen to. So, bye friends. Here, I'm back. It is July 20th. I just woke up. I did my morning routine. I also picked up a new nonfiction book. So it's How to Change Everything by Naomi Klein. This is about climate change. It's definitely for a much younger audience, but I do have some science people in my school, so I'll probably read this and then pass it on. And obviously, that book was a lot, the Bill Gates book. And again, I have not learned a lot about climate change. It was not something that we focused on when I was in elementary school, middle school, high school, college even. So I am going to give this a read and then probably toss it on to some of my teachers in the future. But I am going to go head to yoga. I am still actively watching the gymnastic situation. So you'll probably hear some updates. One of the alternates did test positive for COVID-19, and that makes me just nervous. I'll be honest, just a little bit nervous. But last night I did start reading Six Crimson Cranes by Elizabeth Lim. I am really excited for that book. I only read 3 chapters, but you basically follow this princess who has some magic that no one knows about, and she's basically like been betrothed to this man, and it's based on like a myth and like a story in the Asian American community, which I'm really excited for. So my goal today is to make some real progress on that and to finally catch up on my YouTube queue. I only have 30 videos left, which is definitely solid, but I'm gonna go run to yoga in in town, and when I come back I'll check in. I'm gonna hope to finish my podcast today and start or continue listening to Love and Olives, because that is actually a challenge book for my reading challenge that I would like to finish. But when I come back, I'll update you guys on my podcast and if I got to do any audiobook listening, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye bye. Here I'm back. I just got back from my bike ride. I did wind up continue listening to Love and Olives by Jenna Evan Walsh, which is her travel novel set in Santorini, Greece. But you basically follow this girl named Liv, and her dad is very obsessed with Atlantis, and he's like an Atlantis hunter. And she hasn't seen him since she was little, but he kind of invites her out there, and we kind of are encountering her on the start of that journey. And then I made a little bit more reading progress on 6 Crimson Cranes. I'm about 11% in. We have met a new side character, which I'm really liking right off the bat. The magic system is definitely developing. I'm really liking that. But I'm going to read a little bit more, make my way through my YouTube queue. I have about 38 videos left to watch, which is actually much better than when I started. I still have a couple other ones to end at the very, very end, but I'm about to start Helium Booklands videos, which I really, really enjoy. And I'll update you guys when I'm done with a few of, like, when I get like a couple of chapters in, because I read a little bit in the morning, but not a lot. Talk to you guys in a bit. Bye, friends. Sorry, here I'm back. I did wind up reading to chapter 10. Well, like up to chapter 10. I completed chapter 9 in 6 Crimson Cranes. I am right off the bat super intrigued by this book. So about halfway through where I was reading, something happened, and our main character, Shori, I think that's how you pronounce it, was basically sent away because she revealed the secret that her stepmother is trying so desperately to keep, that her stepmother, like her, also has magic. And after that happened, her stepmother turned her brother into all her brothers into birds, and sent her away with something on her head. And every single time she speaks a word, her brothers are killed. So she's sort of living in this small town, sort of like, acting as a cook, and really no opportunity to go back and help her family, which is really, really hard on her. She was very, very close to her family, and she never had an opportunity to tell her dad what was happening. So she keeps getting flashes of her past, which I think is very, very, or like the present, I guess. I'm liking it so far. I've always liked Elizabeth Lim's writing. I think it's very, very interesting, very, very, culturally diverse. Like, I've never heard of any of these myths necessarily, but I'm intrigued right off the bat. But because my dad's obsessed with watering his lawn, I have to go for a bike ride, and I'm going to charge my Kindle, hopefully to make a little bit more progress. But YouTube Cube update, not that you guys really care, but I only have 34 videos left, which is actually a pretty good progress. I am going to take The Bone Season with Me by Samantha Shannon. I haven't read that in a couple of days, so I'm going to kind of read a couple of chapters when I'm at the park. I also did realize that they do have Sunkissed by Casey West as an audiobook, so I'm going to try to make some more headway on Love and Olives by Jenna Evan Welsh, and also listen to Sunkissed before my gymnastic podcasts become too insane, because there's going to be a lot. I said before one of the alternates tested positive for COVID-19, and now we're just hoping that no one else gets positive, because that would be very, very damaging for our chances of medaling. So I'm keeping an eye out of everything. You'll probably hear me updates. We also did get the times of the Olympics. Some of these meets are at like 2 o'clock in the morning. So, and I got so spoiled during my Rio run. Like, I was spoiled on every single meet that I watched. So I might have to pull some all-nighters, or at least like sleep earlier, which I can do, and then just wake up like at 2 o'clock in the morning. We'll see. I'll see when they play it on the Olympic channel, and maybe I just won't go on Twitter, which is hard, but you know what, it's okay. But I'll talk to you guys when I'm back from my bike ride, and I'll give you guys a little bit of update on Love and Olives, but also The Bone Season. Bye, friends. We're just checking back in. I did wind up going for my bike ride. I read another chapter of The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. I'm intrigued enough to keep reading, I will admit that. But I am pleasantly surprised with Love and Olives. I've heard some mixed things about that book, so that is why I chose to pick up the audiobook. But a bookstore has become present in this story, and I love bookstores that are unique. This one is definitely a unique storyline. For sure, it's a unique bookstore, which I always like. But yeah, we're right at the start of that story, so like, I just learned about that. But I also did read 2 more chapters in 6 Crimson Cranes. This book, it just has so many elements that I like, and I like books that change settings a lot. So this has kept changing setting. Like, she was in she was the princess, and then she was in another location. Now she's moving again, all to save her brothers, which I think is a very you normally see a lot of sister relationships in stories, but I've yet to find sibling brothers and sister relationships. They're not as common. But I'm really liking this one, and I'm loving the world building that she's creating. So I'm going to keep reading and hopefully make some more progress on my YouTube queue. Still have 36 videos left. They're just really, really long. So I'm going to go read a little bit more, and I'll update you guys when I get to chapter 15. So talk to you guys in a little bit. Right, here I'm back. I just want to do a quick update. I did wind up getting up to 40% done in Six Crimson Cranes, and about 5 hours left. I am reading an e-arc. I'm really liking this book, like, quite a bit. I like that it sort of reminds me a little bit of the structure of Spin the Dawn, because there was a lot of different locations. There's also a lot happening in this book, which I really did not expect. There was a reveal from previous in the book, and they have to try to take down the stepmother, which is a really complicated plot, so I don't want to give too much away. But you were definitely developing some relationships, which I didn't think was going to happen. I thought that it was going to be a very, like, isolated story. But I'm, like, really enjoying it. I love her writing style quite a bit. I have to go to a Zoom meetup later this evening at 8, but I'm going to try to read to at least 50% and see how I'm feeling. And I'm going to kind of decide if I might take a little bit of break and maybe pick up, like, a thriller that I've had on my TBR for quite a bit. But other than that, I'm really enjoying this. Love Elizabeth Lim writing. I may actually wind up reading Unravel the Dust soon, because it's only a duology, and I would like to get around to reading that quickly. But I'm going to go read the last another 10% and see how I'm feeling, and then I might pick up The Cousins. Just to sort of read as a break, because that's what I like to do when I'm reading a high fantasy book, and just kind of give myself a little bit of an evening break, especially because I'm going to be on a Zoom call, and they're going to talk, and I'm probably just going to listen, but we'll see. So I'm going to read a little bit more, read about 10 more percent, and then I'll give you guys another update. Bye, friends. I'm back. It's about 10:30. I didn't wind up doing all the things I normally do in the morning, because today was the prelim, well, not the prelims, but the podium training for gymnastics, and it took me about 2 hours to get access to the stream, so that's what I've been doing. Last night I did wind up reading a little bit more of Six Crimson Cranes, and I also started my Avatar graphic novel. I'm about 53% done into Six Crimson Cranes. Really enjoying it. This story has so many elements that reminds me of Spin the Dawn, like very small cast of characters. Actually, this cast is a little bit bigger than the ones we've seen in the past. I mean, in her first book was very, very isolated. This book has a bigger cast of characters, but they travel to a bunch of different locations. There's a lot happening. Sorry, my phone keeps going off. But there's, like, a lot happening with this character. She has to uncover the name of her stepmother to bring her down, because she was cursed, but then also if she says anything, that sound will kill her brother. So she's in a very, very weird situation, being a princess, but no one knows she's a princess, and also there's just a lot of fun side characters. I'm really enjoying this book. Definitely makes me want to go finish the Spin the Dawn duology, but this is very much more like not as darker magic as the magic we saw in Spin the Dawn, but I'm really, really liking it. So yeah, my goal is to finish the gymnastics Ustream, or streaming, and then I'm probably gonna go for a bike ride. It's supposed to rain today, but my big goal is to finish that and catch up on that. So I want to go read for a little bit more, and when I'm done with my gymnastics streaming, I will update you guys how far. Right now I'm about 53% into this book, and I'm really enjoying it so far. Normally when I get past 50%, I tend to read a book a little bit quicker, but we will see if that's the case. Talk to you guys in a little bit. Bye, friends. I just wound up getting up to 70% done in Six Crimson Cranes. This book is so good. Like, it's a very unique type of book, because it's combining a bunch of different fairy tale tropes into one story. I do really like the main character. I think it's very interesting. The one thing I think that would have made this book a little bit different was if we also would have gotten there's a couple of characters in this story that I'm really intrigued by, like the little dragon and her brothers, and they all have different, like, plot points in the story. So I almost would have liked it if we also got their point of views as well, because she's very isolated where she is. She's with, like, different people that don't know who she is, because she can't communicate in this whole book, because if she says anything, every word she says will kill one of her brothers. So she's also with a family which has connections back to her past, but they don't know who she is. Very intrigued. I also did finish watching gymnastics while the coverage, so I was able to catch up on that. But yeah, I'm probably going to sit outside and try to tackle the rest of this. I have still 32 videos left in my YouTube queue. But when I get maybe like 90% done, I'll give you guys another update. I really am enjoying this. Definitely going to be like a 4 or 5 star read. The only thing that would have, like, pushed it a little bit farther right now would be if I also got those other point of views, but still really enjoying it, and I'll give you an update when I'm done, or when I get to 90%. Bye, friends. I'm back. It's about 2:07. I am going to actually take a little bit of a reading break. I did wind up getting up to 80% in this book. This book has gone on such a journey. I'm really, really enjoying it, but I haven't scrapbooked like all week, and I know with the upcoming gymnastic competitions, I'm probably not going to have a lot of time, so I'm going to scrapbook a little bit, put on some, I don't even know what videos, but nothing like really thrilling. But my goal is for tonight is to finish this. I'm going to scrapbook a little bit. I started a new friend scrapbook. I finished the one that I was working on for my other friends. So I'm going to start that. Put on, because like when I tend to scrapbook, I tend to like want to listen to stuff I've already listened to before, because I'm really focused on my crafting. But I may find something new. But I am going to let this charge for a little bit, and then I'm probably going to come back and just tackle the rest of it. I also did get rid of some of my videos that I was like in the middle of watching. So my YouTube queue is only 17 videos long, which is not that big. I should be able to finish that tonight. But I'm going to go clean off my desk, figure out what I want to work on, scrapbook for a little bit. It's also pouring raining, so I can't go for my walk, which is what I normally do, but that's okay. Which means I don't think I'll get to listen to my audiobook today, but that's okay. But I'm going to go scrapbook, charge my Kindle, and then I'll come back and we'll touch base. Bye, friends. It's about 3:41. I just went up scrapbooking a little bit. I watched some behind-the-scene vlogs from Tokyo, which was super exciting. I got to see Michaela Skinner's, and we got to see a bunch of the other girls in that. And I love behind-the-scene documentaries and behind-the-scene vlogs, especially because I am invested in the Olympics. But I think I'm going to go for a walk because it's stopped raining, so I think I can maybe squeeze in a walk. And I don't know what I'm going to listen to. But my goal today is to finish 6 Crimson Cranes. That is my biggest goal. And also to finally catch up on my YouTube queue. So that is my plan. I'm probably going to come home, go for a walk, then do my arm workout, because that is what was on the agenda today. And today was just like a weird day. I just got off to the day in a really, really weird start trying to get my computer to work, and you know, that's what happens when you change all your things over and not everything is the way that it used to be. I got very, very frustrated this morning, but I am going to go for a walk, do a workout, come back and try to finish 6 Crimson Cranes. So I'll talk to you guys when I start reading again. Bye, friends. Lori here. I'm back. I got up to chapter 36, so I have like an hour and 10 minutes left. I'm 87% in. This book has had so many wild twists and turns. I'm really enjoying it. I think as the story has gone on, I've liked the book even more. And the critique I had with Spin the Dawn was it was a very small cast of characters. And this book, there are so many characters. The environment kept twisting, which was very similar to Spin the Dawn, which I did like. I'm so curious to see what's going to happen in the last book. There are so many pressure points put on our main character, like so many like things she can't do. She can't talk, she can't speak, she can't like say anything. She has like this thing on her head, so she really is in a very like difficult situation. So I'm really curious like how this story is going to turn out, but also the politics in the story are really interesting, and I'm really liking the way that is sort of gonna go, and I'm curious how the end's gonna turn out. But it's really, really good. I'm really enjoying it, and I am gonna go tackle the last hour. I'm debating staying up to 2 o'clock in the morning to watch my podium training, but what I might do is I might actually go to bed on time and just stay up to watch like team and all around when that is live. We will see. I do sort of want to watch it, but I don't know if I'm going to make it that late. So I'm going to go read probably the rest of this book, and then I'll give you guys a check-in. Bye, friends. Lori here. I'm back. I just wanted to say that I did want to finishing 6 Crimson Cranes. This book was a wild ride. Like, from start to end, it does remind me a lot of the plot structure of Spin the Dawn, but the one thing and it's definitely going to be a duology, if not like a series. I did like the overall plot. There were some plot elements that I thought were going to be really prominent in this book that turned out not to be as prominent, but I'm hopeful in book 2 that one character that I really did enjoy will get it. It definitely went in some directions romantically that I was not expecting, and I'm a little bit nervous for book 2 because the dynamics of the characters and who she's with will be different. So I grew to really like all the side characters in the story, and I always said that when I read high fantasy, I tend to grow to really like the side characters. But I would give this a 4-star read. I think there was a lot going on and some of the plot points got dropped a little bit, but I'm hopeful that in future installments in the series that it will we'll get more time with those characters. But really liked it. I thought it was a nice mix between fantasy and fairy tale. It was a political alliance romance point that I was not expecting but enjoyed so much. Like, I like that element a lot. It really was very, very fun. So, in my TBR and Beyond reading board, I did wind up rolling mystery. So I have a couple of options. I am going to charge my Kindle, but there is a book on here that is a mystery, and I have a couple other ones. But I am going to pick up The Cousins by Karen M. McManus. I do have an e-arc of this as well, but it was at my library. I've never read anything by this author before. I've heard some really mixed things about her. It's like I can't think of the name. What is it called? What did she write? One of Us is Lying. I've heard some mixed things about that. There's some mental health representation that I don't think people are really, really fond of. But this one sounds really interesting. If you don't know anything about me, I come from a cousin of family of 25 cousins. So I'm going to pick this one up. I'm going to read a little bit, see how I feel about it. And if not, I'll pick up another one of my mysteries. But I'm at least going to give this one a shot. But yeah, so this is going to be the book that I'm going to start. I am going to try to stay up late tonight and see if I can maybe make it to podium training for the Olympics. I don't know if I'm going to, but I do also have a meeting at 8 o'clock with one of my podcasts I listen to, MuggleCast. We have a meeting and we do it for an hour and we talk and it's just fun. So I'm going to go kind of organize myself and prepare to start reading The Cousins, and I will give you guys a check-in probably. It's not that long, and I did have an e-arc of this a while ago, so if I get around to this, I'll let you guys know my thoughts, and if not, I will come in and tell you guys what I feel like reading. But talk to you guys in a bit. Bye, friends. Right here, I didn't stay up last night and watch the Olympics, but I did wind up waking up early and watching the podium training for the American women. I cannot wait to see what happens, because if you know nothing about gymnastics, there is a 2 per country rule. So only 2 people can get into the all-around final and all of the individual competitions. So the vault final, the floor final, the beam final, the uneven bars, and the vault. You can only have 2 per country. So it's basically to stop people from overwhelming them. But we have 4 team members: Simone Biles, Suni Lee, Jordan Childs, Grace McCallum, and then we have Michaela Skinner and Jade Carey, who are all pretty amazing. But they're 2 per country out, so you have Simone, who is incredible, and I think she's probably going to make all-around, vault, beam, and floor final. There's a possibility she might make uneven bars as well, which would be incredible. But getting into the all-around final will be incredibly challenging, and also getting into the finals will be challenging as well. So I've been keeping an eye on that and kind of watching and seeing what's happening. Very, very interesting. You guys will probably hear a lot about this in the next couple of weeks, week before it's over, because I think it's over the week before the day before my birthday, I think. Which is August 9th. But I also did wind up starting The Cousins by Karen A. McManus. I don't think that's her initial. I literally just started it, so I don't want to talk too much about it, but I did wind up getting a good percent into Love and Olives by Jenna Evan Welsh. I really am liking this book. I definitely can see some people saying it's super long, and being in the character's head is a little bit frustrating at points, because she's so guarded against everything that her dad does, and you just want them to be happy and like each other. You want her to be all in, and she's not all in yet, but I do really like it. I love a new setting. So, but I am gonna run up to town, get some lunch. It's so pretty here, so my plan is to finally finish my YouTube queue. I've been talking about this whole entire reading vlog, but I got a little bit distracted yesterday because the men's podium training was 3 hours, so it took me a long time to get through that. And then I watched Turner and Hooch last night, which was really, really cute, and a couple of other little things. So, but I'm gonna go head up to town, get some food, and I'll check back with you guys about what I read in that interim. Bye, friends. Here, just checking back in. It is almost 1 o'clock. I just got home. I wound up walking to town, getting some lunch. I also am about 50% done with Love and Olives. I love the setting of Santorini, Greece. I love the elements of like a documentary. I love the potential romance plan. I love how these books really do focus on self-discovery. This book is a little bit more about self-discovery and also about the relationship with her dad and how complicated that is. I really am just enjoying it. It's a very, very fast-paced read. I love the potential love interest. It's great. It's a very, very fast-paced read. I'm really enjoying it. I still have not read any more of The Cousins. I'm only on page 20, so I'm going to read a little bit more of this, try to make some progress on my YouTube queue. And I'll update you guys when I get up to page 50, because I haven't even met all the characters yet, so. But my goal is to finish my YouTube queue today. I know I keep saying that, but I keep getting distracted. So I'm going to go do that, read a little bit more of this, and then finally update you guys when I feel like I know a little bit about all the characters. But yeah, talk to you guys in a little bit. Bye, friends. Right here, I'm back. It's about 117, but I can give you guys like a concise summary. I've read the first 52 pages in The Cousins. So basically, you follow these three characters. You follow Millie, Aubrey, and Jonah, and they are a part of this very, very rich, prestigious family, but they have never met their grandmother. Their parents had a falling out with their grandmother so many years in the past, and they have no connection to her. The kids were cut out of the will, but one day they get a letter from their grandmother telling them that she wants to connect with them again, so she wants them to work at a resort that she owns on this island. But when they get there, things are not as they seem because their grandmother never invited them. So you get everyone's point of view, and then you get I think you're about to also get their parents' point of view to see like what led them to this, which I think is super interesting right off the bat. I'm really liking it so far, like really, really enjoying it. I'm about 52 pages in. I've never read anything by this author before, but I know she writes very, very fast-paced thrillers. I also love the aspect of cousins. I have a really, really big family, so I think and then you guys, so this book is, I think, probably set in like 2020, and then you go back to 1996 when their parents were kids, which I think, again, is super interesting. So I'm going to read another 50 pages, and then I'll give you guys an update and see how I'm feeling, but I really am liking it so far, and will probably definitely keep reading. I was a little bit cautious going in, but so far I'm really enjoying it, so I will update you guys when I get to page about 100 and talk to you guys in a little bit. Bye, friends. I just want to do a quick check-in. I did wind up listening to a little bit more of Love and Olives when I was walking around the block. I really do still like that book, but I want to give a more solid update on The Cousins by Karen M. McManus. I will say I'm liking this book, and this is something about me as a reader. I struggle with unlikable characters, and I think that they're not unlikable, but they're not very like dynamic. Like I feel like they're very much like a one-track character. You have 3 point of views, and actually 4 point of views, I guess. But like I'll be honest, it's sort of hard to remember whose head you're in a little bit. But there are being a lot of secrets that are being revealed. Each character sort of has their own secret. And then there's also the mystery of like, why are they here? But also what happened that led their parents to being so ostracized. So I do like it. I'm intrigued enough to keep reading. I'll be curious to see how it ends, and like, you know, like there's a lot of mystery, but it's not, I guess, what I was expecting. They say people, you know, if they can survive. So I'll be curious how that sort of plays, and I think I know one plot twist for sure. But I'm curious. I'm gonna keep reading. I'll give you guys an update when I get to like 150 and see. But so far it's interesting. It's just not my favorite, and I just think the characters are not as like well-rounded as I was expecting. But I will give you guys a little bit more of an update. But I also did make some watching progress. I only have 8 videos left, so that's pretty good. So I'm gonna make it my goal to finish all my YouTube queue, and when I get up to 150, I'll give you guys an update. Bye, friends. Lori here, I'm back. I did want to say that I did wind up getting up to page 180 in The Cousins by Karen M. McManus. I will say I'm liking this book. I don't think it's my favorite, but I am intrigued to keep reading. I was just curious. I like nosed around and see if I could pick up an audiobook and maybe finish it that way, but I couldn't, and I am invested enough to keep reading. But I'm just sort of over rich stories, but there are like some like plot points that I'm intrigued of. I really do like, what is his name? Jonah's story, because I think it's like an interesting take on it that I don't think I was expecting, and there is also a little bit more mystery that was just introduced, so I definitely am going to kind of take today. I also have no gymnastics to watch tomorrow, which is nice because the next day I have to wake up at like 6 a.m. to watch it. So I'm going to take a little bit of a reading break, try to tackle the rest of my YouTube queue, get a little bit of a snack, and try to get up to page 250 tonight in this. And I'll see. I've heard from many people that her books get really good towards the end, and I'm expecting that, but I'm curious. This cover has led me to believe one thing about this book, so I'm being curious if it doesn't go in that direction. I know you can't like take covers literally, but this one is a little bit obvious to me, so I'm curious if it's gonna play with this trope, but we'll see. So I'm gonna go get a little bit of a snack, get some water, read, and when I get up to like 250, I'll give you guys another update. Here and back. It's about 8:09. I did wind up getting up to page like 236 in the Cousins, but I didn't finish my YouTube queue. I added a bunch more videos, but I'm getting so close. So my goal is to make quite a bit of progress on those videos and try to stay up a little bit later tonight and just sort of adjust myself to staying up later, because eventually I'm going to have to stay up later for the Olympics and watch them live, but I don't know when that's going to be. But this book definitely did take a turn that I wasn't expecting. So I'm intrigued a little bit more. I will give you guys my final thoughts at the very, like, you know, when I read a little bit more, I'm only like, but I'm intrigued enough. The characters are becoming a little bit more distinct, and again, there's just a lot of people in the story, and they do give you like a little bit of like a background chart, but it's intriguing. So I'm definitely going to keep reading. I'll update you guys when I get to page 250, but the players in the story are becoming a little bit more dynamic, which I definitely am enjoying. So I will talk to you guys in a little bit. Bye, friends. Larry here. It's about 9:08. I did wind up getting up to page 282 in the Cousins. I will admit, this book has definitely taken some dramatic turns. I really like this story. I think as I read it a little bit more, the story is growing on me. And it's definitely not a story I was expecting to like, but I'm enjoying the characters a lot. And I always say I like character-based stories. They're really like developing like as characters. There's a lot to this story, and I like mysteries that you sort of can't predict. I always have said that. So I'm curious to see how the story is going to end. It does have some elements that reminds me of Jennifer Lynn Barnes writing style. Her twists have always knocked me off my bed or whatever where I was reading. So, but I also like that we did get another character's point of view that I wasn't never necessarily expecting, and I also like that the characters' circle of people that they actually are like working with keep getting bigger and bigger. So that's a really I just think it's an interesting read. I'm really curious how the story is gonna end. I'll be very honest. So I'm gonna go tackle the rest of it and give you guys like my thoughts at the very end. But it definitely was a journey. I would say right now it's probably a 3.5-star read, but it might get up to a 4-star read at the very end, at the end of something. But I'm really liking it, and I think my favorite character is definitely Jonah. Technically, that's his name. Yeah, Jonah. But I also like the other characters. So very interesting, very fun. I'm glad that I stuck through it and I kept reading. But yeah, I'm excited to see how the story ends. So bye, friends. Sorry for the word angle, but I did wind up finishing the Cousins last night. I have to admit, this book definitely grew on me as the story went on. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably re-listen to this book later in the year because I really enjoyed it towards the end. I think I struggled a little bit with the early part of it because the characters weren't as developed as I would like them to, and the voices I felt were super similar. But overall, I would give this book like 3.75 stars for review. I thought it was a super fun and engaging read. I just wanted the characters to be a little bit more distinct. I think Jonah was definitely my favorite character, but I also like that there was an element that tied it to the past. It had major Jennifer Lynn Barnes vibe. She always kind of has a twist that you never see coming. I thought it wasn't as clearly explained as her stories are, but I did enjoy it. So I am going to wrap up this reading vlog. I normally start a weekend reading vlog. I'm going to go do that, but I have a bunch of other little errandy stuff to do. But in this reading vlog, I did wind up finishing The Cousins, which I enjoyed. And I also read a couple of other things. Let me just go look back. Finished 6-Star Cranes by Elizabeth Lim, which is also a book which is definitely a 4-star read that I also really enjoyed. And I made quite a bit of progress on my audiobook of Love and Olives, which I will definitely probably finish earlier this weekend. But yeah, those are the 3 books that I wound up finishing. I really liked this one. I thought it was fun. And I would definitely check out more by this author in the future. I've heard really mixed things about her other thriller series, but this one was super fun, and I hope we get a sequel because the door was definitely left open enough for that. So I hope you guys are having a good day, and I'll see you guys for my next reading log. Bye, friends.